Hi, I'm Brad Meltzer. Welcome to Storytime number 2. This one is I Am Abraham Lincoln. Our goal is to give your kids better heroes to look up to, teach them lessons of kindness and compassion, especially today. We need it, especially in our leaders. So we are going to start. I have the book right here. Let me just find it. Here. No, not here. No, I know. This is actually a big one. No. This. By the way, this joke is running so long, and notice that these are all, by the way, these are all the lightsabers that were in our house. I like this one. No, this. We have all these. No, not those. No, not Harry Potter's broom. No, we'll get sued for that. Anyway, oh, here it is. Ta-da! That was acting, by the way. I am Abraham Lincoln. The reason I wrote this book is, as I always say, that the lesson in every one of these books is always on the back. So it's I Am Abraham Lincoln by my favorite author, Brad Meltzer, my favorite illustrator, Chris Eliopoulos, who was our amazing artist. On the back, it says the lesson: I will always speak my mind and speak for others. And so one of the things that you're going to see in this one is this is going to focus, for you who are Xavier Riddle fans, is Dr. Zoom.
Can you believe it?
Yadina has a stuffed Dr. Zoom. I have a stuffed Abraham Lincoln. That's right, I do. So we're going to learn, and Dr. Zoom is going to play a major role in this book. You scream, yell when you see him, or her, I should say. And this is I Am Abraham Lincoln by Brad Meltzer and Christopher Eliopoulos. Here we go. I am Abraham Lincoln. Always starts with the, right? Gotta figure out where we are and what we're doing. When I was little, even young boys were expected to work on the farm and hunt animals for food. And he says, I preferred to read. Man after my own heart. I also loved animals. Is my favorite story in the book. When I was 10 years old, I saw a group of boys playing with some turtles. He's like, they found turtles? I love turtles. Abraham Lincoln loved animals. But as I got closer, I realized they weren't playing. They were taking hot coals and putting them on top of the turtles to see what happened. To them, it was harmless fun. Look, it's making the turtle run faster, and they're teasing, they're torturing these turtles. In that moment, I could have just walked away. When you're 10 years old, it's hard to do the right thing. But someone has to. And he says, let the turtle go. And he's like, what'd you say? He says, you heard me. Let it go. Those boys let the turtle go. Soon after, I wrote one of my first essays about how hurting animals is wrong. That may not seem like a big deal, but back then, most kids and even adults didn't know how to write. In fact, the state of Indiana was so new, schools weren't even built yet. I went to school for barely a year, total, but that didn't stop me. Using chalk, I practiced writing the alphabet on trees. I even wrote in the dirt of the cornfield. When it came to learning, my best teachers were simply books. I love books so much, I once walked 6 miles. I'm serious, 6 miles to get one. I'd read while my horse was resting and while waiting in line at the local store, and in one of my favorite positions with my feet up on a tree. I want you out there, by the way, if you're hearing this, take pictures of yourself reading with your feet up on a tree and send it to me. Before long, I had read every book in the neighborhood, from the Bible to Aesop's Fables to Robinson Crusoe. But one of my favorites, this is who Abraham Lincoln's hero was. His favorite book, about George Washington. It's true, Washington was one of his heroes. I'd even copied my favorite parts on pieces of wood. He said, did you know that George Washington was a friend of men? You're a strange boy, Abraham Lincoln, she says. Yeah, but I'm going to be on the penny someday. What's a penny? This is called a running joke. You're going to learn today. It's good. When I was 22 years old, we moved to Illinois, where I met a group known as the Clary's Grove Boys. Everyone in town knew they were bullies. I didn't like bullies. But I was the new guy. When they challenged me, I didn't have much choice. Today, some will call it a fight, but it was really a wrestling match. Me against their leader, Jack Armstrong. Back then, the rule was once you grabbed your opponent, you couldn't break your hold. Don't let go. Wham! He throws him. Look at that. Pow! But Jack did. So he could grab my leg and send me flying. I wasn't mad I lost. Everyone loses sometimes. What got me upset? He had cheated. He didn't play fair. He says, maybe you want to fight us all. Within seconds, they all surrounded me. Scary, right? They were waiting for me to back down or to lose my cool. Instead, calmly and confidently, I told him, if I have to, I will fight every single one of you, fair and square. They knew I meant it. You're a strange kid, Abraham Lincoln, but you've got guts. I'm going to be on the penny one day. What's a penny, he says. Sometimes the hardest fights don't reveal a winner, but they do reveal character, especially when you're fighting for something you believe in. Still, not every struggle brought a victory. Years later, I saw a group of enslaved people chained together in a boat on the Ohio River. Back then, not all people were free. Some were enslaved. Just because of the color of their skin, they were forced to work without pay. They were treated terribly. I'll never forget. I love this drawing that Chris did. I'll never forget the sight of that boat. I didn't do anything that day, but for those years, the memory of those people, I love this drawing. It haunted me. I was still thinking about them when I became president. I lost 4 elections before I got the big job. 4! America was facing one of the greatest fights in our history, the Civil War. One side wanted to let the enslaved people go free. The other side, we want to keep slavery going, and we'll fight anyone who says otherwise. If I had turned my head and looked away, I would have avoided the fight. But if I learned anything in life, it was this. When someone needed help, I wasn't so good at looking away. He says, I'm sorry, I can't allow that. What'd you just say? You heard me. These people will be free. This is one of my favorite pages. The Civil War lasted longer than anyone thought. The fighting took a terrible toll. People on our side were ready to give up. To re-energize them, we held a big event in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The main speaker gave a speech that lasted nearly 2 hours. I gave a speech that lasted 2 minutes and used only 271 words. The most important 5 words I used: all men are created equal. Soon after, I helped pass a law that ended slavery in America and freed all these people. Then we ended the Civil War. As a result, we didn't just bring together these United States of America. We proved that this government of the people, by the people, and for the people will be dedicated to freedom and justice. By the way, did I ever tell you that I'm hidden in every book? I'm not going to show you where at all. I am not showing you where. You know, in his speech, he told the crowd that no one would remember what he said at Gettysburg. But we did. And here's the important part. In life, strength can take many forms, but there's nothing quite as strong as standing up for someone who needs it. No matter where you're from or how little you have, one thing that can never be taken away from you is your voice. When you find something you believe in, use your voice. And when you see injustice, speak louder than you've ever spoken before. When you do, it'll never be forgotten. Look, he's on the penny. I am Abraham Lincoln. I will never stop fighting for what's right, and I hope you remember that when you speak your mind and speak for others, there's no more powerful way to be heard. And that is the end of I Am Abraham Lincoln. And as always, I'm going to take some questions that you guys have sent me. And let's see some good questions here. It says, are all those lightsabers yours? They are all ours. I told you. You think I'm making this up? They are all ours. Now, by the way, someone said, I got this right. Where's Dr. Zoom? Did you miss it? Come on. The turtle. Look, there's a turtle on this page. Hint, hint. Dr. Zoom. Dr. Zoom. Look, our favorite Dr. Zoom. Ooh, I like this question. Who is coming next? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so let's see if I even have, you know what? This is why I love, okay, ready? So you've seen, obviously we have I Am Abraham Lincoln. The next one that's coming is right here. I Am Leonardo da Vinci. He's coming, and then after that we're doing I Am Benjamin Franklin. We're doing I Am Anne Frank, and I'm not gonna tell you who's after that because it's a surprise. On Xavier Riddle, you're gonna see, I'm not supposed to say anything. I'm not supposed to talk about it. They told me not to tell anyone who's coming, that he's coming soon on Xavier Riddle. I never said it. See, PBS Kids, I never said it. Abraham Lincoln's coming. See, I didn't even say that. That wasn't even me. It was him. That's who did it. Anyway, my name is Brad Meltzer. Thank you for tuning in. We still do not have a crayon utility belt like Brad wears his crayon utility belt on Xavier Riddle. But again, my promise to you, I will get a crayon utility belt. It is coming. I'm determined to find one. Thank you for joining us and letting me entertain your kids today in these crazy times. Keep reading, and most important, keep being nice to each other.
Hi everybody, I'm Chris Eliopoulos. I'm the co-creator of Xavier Riddle and the Secret Museum on PBS Kids. I'm also a cartoonist, illustrator. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw Abraham Lincoln. In my life, I discovered that many things need to be taken step by step. So I want you to work with your kids and your fellow teachers and your parents on how to draw. And it all starts with the letter C. We're going to do a letter C right here. Now the trick is when you're doing this, you make sound effects like I do while I'm sitting at home in my cartoonist studio. Next up, we're going to do the letter U, a giant U shape. Just like that. And then all we need is a straight little line. So there's an I, a C, and a U. I can see you drawing through this camera. Next up, we're going to do a little line straight across for his hat. I'm going to add that little line. So Abraham Lincoln used to have like a stovepipe hat, really tall hat. So we're going to do a couple little lines on either side. Next up, 2 more simple lines. Boop, boop. Now for fun, since the hat is really tall, we're going to go right up off the page. I want to see you guys draw those lines right up off the page. Now we're going to start with numbers. The number 3 will be the hair. How does 3 become hair? Just like this. And we've got hair. And then we're going to do another 3 on the other side for more hair. Next up, I'm going to give you a trivia question. How did Abraham Lincoln smell? If you said with his nose, you're right. His nose is a backward C. Boink. And then we're going to do 2 little dots for eyes. Give him some eyebrows. A big old smile. And then, of course, Abraham Lincoln, when he was 11, did not have a beard. But we're cartoonists, so we're going to draw him with a beard, a bunch of U shapes. And there you have it, Abraham Lincoln, just for you. Try it at home. Share with your friends and families.